All right. Spelling for grade 2, unit 3, week 3. These words have the sound O, the long sound O. We're dealing with words. Oops, where'd it go? Present to this display. Okay, we're dealing with words that have the sound O. And now we have to ask, how do we spell the sound? And the first question we always ask is, where is the sound? Where do you hear the O sound? Is it at the end of the word, or at the end of the word, or not at the end of the word? Okay, that's what we're going to ask. Is it at the end of the word or not at the end of the word? So we're going to start out first with when it's not at the end of the word, if it's in the middle of a syllable. The most common way that we spell the O sound when it's in the middle of a syllable is when we use a silent E, like when we have here, note, and we have the E that makes the O say O, or road, and the E makes the O say O. But we don't have any of those words on this spelling list. That was all last year or earlier this year. So we don't have any of those words. Now, if the O sound is in the middle of a syllable, the most common way that you've got for this list is with the OA. Okay, the OA says O in the middle of a syllable. That's the most common way. And then we have two words where the O comes before two consonants. That's this one here. If it comes before two consonants, we spell it with just an O. There's a spelling rule that says I and O may say I and O before two consonants. And we had some of the I words last time. And this week we have some of the O words. So if O comes before two consonants, we might spell it with just the O. Okay, so those words we call the kind old words or the wild old words, and it's with an I or an O. And last week we had some of the I words like mind with an I-N-D. Let's see, we had, where's the mind? Up here, mind. And we had a couple of other words. I don't remember what they were. This week we've got the O sound, and that happens with the O-L-T, the O in front of the LT, the two consonants LT, like colt, bolt, jolt, molt, volt, and revolt. And we have it when we have O in front of the two consonants ST, like post, most, post, almost, and ghost. And then we have it in front of OLD, when if it's in front of the LD. So O in front of two consonants can be spelled with just an O. And we have a couple of those words this week. And then we have, if it's, we'll go back and look at the other ones. Let's go ahead and do our spelling on these. So the first word that we have in our list this week is told. Let's listen to the sounds. Told. How many sounds do you hear? T, old. 4 sounds. And here's my O sound right in here. And was it in front of two consonants? Told. Did you hear the little D? So we're going to use, get the right color here. We're going to spell it with the T. That's just a T. T, O. And O, we'll spell it with an O because it's in front of two consonants. Old. Circle first, up tall, drop it down. Told. Let's say those sounds again. T, old. And because we have the O in front of two consonants, I'm spelling it with just an O. Next, I have the word most. Let's listen to the sounds in most. M-O-S. Did you hear that the O sound was in front of two consonants? Right there. It was in front of two consonants. Guess what? We're going to spell it with an O. Let's spell it. O most. Say it again. Most. The O says O in front of two consonants. Okay, those are the two words where we have just the O making the long O sound because they're in front of two consonants. Then we have some words where we use the OA. Now, that's the next most common way to spell the O sound. Let's say the word float. What are the sounds you hear in float? I will float on the water. Float. Let's spell those. Spelled with an F. O, and I'm going to use the OA to spell the O sound because it is not at the end of the word. And I'm not using that silent E. Float, and then I have to put a T at the end. Let's say the sounds again. Float, and I'm using the OA to spell the O sound. Next word, coat. Listen to the sounds. Oat. Okay, the O, it's not at the end of the syllable or not at the end of the word. And I've already told you that none of these words use the silent E. So we're going to use the OA to spell the O sound. Let's say those sounds again. Spelled with a C. Always use a C. That doesn't look very nice. Always use a C unless the next letter is E, I, or Y. So the next letter is the O sound. So we have to use a C to spell the K. O, and I'm going to spell that with a O-A. Coat. Spelled with a T. Say the sounds again. Oat. And what are we using to spell the O sound? An O-A. Next word. Toast. Say the sounds. Toast. And here the O sound is in front of two consonants, but it's not one of those words. We're going to spell it with the OA. Let's spell it. T. O. Spell it with the OA. Toast. Say the sounds again. Toast. And this is a word that we use the OA. You have to remember that on this one. We use the OA to spell the O sound in toast. Now let's look back at our diagram here. So when we have the O sound at the end of the word, the most common way to spell it is with the OW. Okay, the OW has two sounds, ow and O, and it is the most common way to spell O at the end of a word. Okay, most common, here we go, is the OW. And then we have a couple of words where we use an OE. Okay, that's not very common. There's just a couple of words, and let me show you what those words are. The words where we use the OE are Joe and toe. And I want you to remember, Joe stubbed his toe. And we're going to spell those with the OE to say O. Okay? Let's spell our words. Let's go back. The word is grow. Say the sounds. G, R, O. There it is at the end of a word. Let's spell it. G, spelled with a G. R, O, and we're going to spell it O-W. That is the most common way to spell the O at the end of a word. Say the sounds again. G, R, O, and we're using the O-W to spell the O sound at the end of the word. Next word, mow. I'm going to mow the yard. M-O. Just two sounds, and the O sound is at the end of a word. What am I going to use to spell it? Say spelled with an M. O, and I'm going to spell that with a O-W. Say the sounds again. O. And I'm using the O-W. Oh, wrong thing. I'm using the O-W to spell the O sound at the end of a word. Okay. Next word, show. Show. What are the sounds you hear in show? Sh. O. Just two sounds. Show. The sound is sh, and we spell that with a S-H. O, and we spell that with a O-W. That is the most common way to spell O at the end of a word. Let's say the sounds again. Sh, O, and we're spelling the O sound with a O-W. Good. Next word, Joe. Uh-oh, do you remember our sentence? Joe stubbed his toe. And we're going to remember that and listen to the sounds. Joe, J-O, just two sounds. And now this is a name, so we know that names have to be capitalized. J-O, and in this word Joe, we spell the O sound with a O-E, and it only happens in a couple of words. J-O, and we're using the O-E to spell the O sound. And then Joe stubbed his toe. The sounds are T-O, spelled T-O. And do you remember our sentence? Joe stubbed his toe. We spell it with an O-E. T-O. Let's go back and just review. Let's go back and look at our oops, hair drawings. Our visuals. Joe stubbed his toe. We have the O-E that spells the O sound. When it's at the end of the word, we usually use the O-W, but we have those two words where we use the O-E. We had words where O says O in front of two consonants, and we had the words told and most. And we hear the O in front of two consonants, we use just the O. And then when it's not at the end of the word, the other way to spell it is with the O-A right here. O-A. And we don't have any words on this list where we have the O with a silent E at the end. That's it. Those were our basic words. We had some bonus words this week. Let's look at those. The first bonus word is light. What are the sounds you hear in light? L, I, T. Oh, this was from last week, and we had the I sound. And do you remember the I sound? It's not at the end of the word. It's in front of a T. Do you remember how to spell it? L, I, not at the end of the word, and it's in front of a T. I spell it with the I-G-H. Light. Okay. Sounds. Light. Spelled with a, the I-G-H is spells the I sound. We have the word mind. I will mind my own business. I hear the I sound, and it's in front of two consonants. How do I spell it? I and O may spell I and O, may say I and O in front of two consonants. So in this word, we spelled the I sound with just the I. Mind. Okay. Sounds again. Mind. And we're spelling the I sound with an I right there in front of two consonants. Next word, only. Only. Let's listen to the sounds. It's two syllables. Only. The sound, first syllable, on. Second syllable, ly. Let's spell them. O, and in this word, we're using just the O to spell the O sound. On. Ly. E. And we use the Y to spell E at the end of a multi-syllable word. Only. Only. This part here is a little unusual. The O, spelling the O sound right there. And I think you remember that the Y spells the E sound at the end of a word, longer word. Only. Next word, hour. Hour. We have ow. The ow sound, it's a sliding sound called a diphthong, ow, and it's spelled O, oh, where's my pen? O-U, ow, hour. I'm gonna go right into the r sound, hour, hour, go. And the last word on the list is who. Who is the main character in our story? Who wants chocolate ice cream? Who? Who is one of our question words? And do you remember how we spell our question words? Let's listen to the sounds. Ooh. Now these are, it's not the usual spellings for these sounds, but let's listen. Who? Ooh. In our question words, we use the WH in our question words. Remember who, what, when, where, why. Those are all question words. My pen's not working well today. So WH usually spells the wh sound, but if it's in front of an O, it spells the sound. So it's WH to spell the sound, and the O spells the oo sound, just like in do and to and who. The O spells the oo sound. Okay, so we have ooh. And both of these are rather unusual spellings. So the WH to spell the sound and the O to spell the oo sound. Who. That's it. Those are our words for the week.